Hello, everyone. Hope everybody's doing well. Hopefully, everybody had a good holiday. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah to all of you. I wanted to make this very important video, talk about the fact that it has been 20 years now. It's been 20 years since I have been looking to obviously embrace this long-term goal that I've been talking about since the beginning of my YouTube channel when I started making videos back in 2011. Let's go back 20 years ago. It was the year 2004. Now, as you know, it's quite of a perhaps a tradition for a lot of Persian American families to come out here for Christmas, check out all the attractions, concerts, and everything. And we've been doing that every other year, most of them since I was born. The trip that I came here in 2004 was very memorable. And this is where I really see it as when my interest of not only moving here from Southern California, but also embracing my long-term goal in real estate development and urban planning was ignited. Okay? Because before that, I had other goals that were probably more important, other aspirations. If you don't know what Las Vegas was like in 2004, the area was booming much more than we have now. And I don't mean percentage-wise, I'm talking about in the number of housing units that was built. Home prices got really inflated. Me and my father, we really took a glance of not just the tourist areas, as well as a lot of the new housing developments, whether it was in the Southwest area, whether it was in the Summerlin area, whether it was in the city of Henderson. I was pretty impressed. I was pretty shocked. And I just really admired the feel, the character, the potential that this area really had. It really got to me as a 12-year-old. From then on, I really felt like at that time I was quite addicted to the computer game SimCity 4. And I thought about this idea of moving here, building neighborhoods out of scratch, being very creative. And not to mention, I felt even then that here it would be more welcoming and more opportunistic than in Southern California. And by the way, when we were here, I remember walking along the Forum Shops at Caesar's Palace. I remember seeing the first Circus Soleil show that I have ever did, which was Mystere. And by the way, then like my mom paid like $100-something for a ticket last minute. That was a lot of money back then, I can tell you. And interesting now that Mystere, by the way, you can get show tickets still, I think, for under $100, even if you factor in the taxes and fees. But that trip really was memorable. Okay, and later on, I started to draw and design my own structures, my own neighborhoods. Back then in 2004, unlike now, I really admired what the home builders and the way the areas were being planned and built at that time in terms of the cul-de-sacs, the arterial routes, the subdivisions, the strip malls. You know, I was just 12 years old. I never really thought a whole lot that the traditional way, although I was open to it, was somehow going to be a more efficient and more attractive system. But later on, as time moved on, I began to do some research well into my high school. I really began to challenge the status quo, which leads me to later part of my life. So I think I've told you guys this before. I grew up mostly in the Inland Empire of California, in Rancho Cucamonga. And ironically now, imagine if me, myself, when I was 12, I was hearing about the fact that now they're building a high-speed train to that city. But the thing is that I grew up there, I really learned, and I got really influenced by the housing boom. And then over time, I really started to challenge the status quo. You know, gas prices went up. There was a lot of issues with car dependency. When I switched high schools, though, my grades plummeted from at one point being a straight A student to essentially almost not graduating high school. And that high school I went to in Orange County, California, I lived in Laguna Niguel, really shook me up. I realized that mass schooling is not for me. I realized that obviously I need to take sort of a different path in my life. I became more inspired to come out here to essentially encourage myself even more to pursue this long-term goal of being a developer, planner out here. In fact, in high school, a lot of people knew me as the guy who wanted to reshape Las Vegas. Over time, shortly after high school, I began to work a lot of hours. I began to use a lot of my huge chunk of my income into putting it in the stock market. And as you know, for over 10 years now, I've been bullish in the stock market up until recently, believe it or not. And you can see in my earlier videos, the stock market overall did go higher. I've made some serious gains. I've been doing a lot to spread the word. I've been doing a lot of efforts to really get the word out there. I've been doing a lot to work on my designs, to work with other people. And here we are now. I've reached a lot of people. I am the team leader of the Strong Towns Las Vegas organization, the local chapter, and I'm looking to put a lot of ads. And Las Vegas has experienced a lot of changes since 2004. You know, the housing bubble burst. We were one of the worst hit in the country. A lot of construction projects behind me, you can see, didn't get built or perhaps were postponed. That's what you basically saw. The really sad part was how Las Vegas never really had the recovery that was really beneficial. You know, we saw more reinflating home prices. We saw these major strip operators because in 2004 and 5, that's when a lot of these hotels started merging and buying each other up. They started raising prices, nickel and diming. The list goes on. A lot of scandals, a lot of controversies, a lot of conflict. By the way, I just found out, according to the LVCVA, our visitor volume has barely changed from 15 to 20 years ago. This is pretty disappointing. Now, gaming revenue has gone up, airport traffic has gone up, but these don't explain exactly what's going on. And the reason is a lot of people came here is because we've seen how California over time has become increasingly dysfunctional. And I've showed you the videos and some of the other YouTube people who you saw who helped draw you guys to this channel. We've seen what California has become a mess, and we've left, and we want to make sure that we don't want these problems that's happened in California to emulate here in Nevada in terms of cost of living, the dirty politics, the urban planning, the list goes on. And this is one of the things you got to keep in mind. Later on, we were exposed to the COVID, the lockdowns, the jabs and everything. A lot of this, many people can argue, has really backfired. Not to mention, it really delayed a lot of plans. It really put a lot of serious hardship, hence the cost of living mess that we're in now. A lot of things have changed, and there's a lot of things that, a lot of problems have continued to get worse. Now the question is, where am I headed with this? Do you guys really think that this plan I have, that all the efforts I put in, is it worth it? Should I continue to stay here? Should I continue to make a difference? Because it's been 20 years, and even though some progress has been made, a lot of my goals have not come to fruition. A lot of plans have been delayed. It's pretty concerning. You know, life is pretty short. The major aspect is that we have not really experienced any real relations with any real estate developer. Now, of course, I could become my own. There's still time along the road. I'm 32 years old. I'm still quite young. I look like to some people that I'm 23. However, nothing has really been built. I have drawn some plans. I have made some drafts, but nothing has really been constructed yet. And it's pretty concerning. And my question is, do you think I should stick, prevail, be persistent, stay out here, make a difference, speak out? Or do you think that it's time that maybe I should just move out to some other part of the country, move back to California, save some housing costs by living with relatives? Should I go overseas? I don't know, because when you look at our society, you look at our culture, you see a lot of unpleasant economic trends. It's not looking really good. It doesn't seem that not just here, not just in America, but the Western world is not looking very pretty, because a lot of things have gone downhill since the year 2004. Now, one good thing is that it's easier for me to broadcast my voice, my information more effectively. But on the other hand, a lot of other outside forces have continued to really weigh on. You just look at the future. Does this place have a future that's worth fighting for? You look at the people. It doesn't seem that the people really here really seem to, they can be aware, but do they have the balls to really fight back? Do they really have the urge to really hear me out? That's the thing. Now, of course, I haven't done a lot of efforts, but I have to really get out there, get with hundreds and thousands of people. I mean, recently I spoke at a meeting, and I was essentially, my words, my testimony was published in the local news. It takes time, of course. And there are some signs that you can argue that the election we had last month is signs that people are unhappy with the way things are going on. People want change. However, the question is, will we get it? Because if the situation is so awful, will the incoming powers that be, will they be strong enough to make a change? Because we have a lot of ugly outside forces, or better yet, do they even care? That's the thing. It's still very hard to say. Now, to be fair, I've done pretty well with my investments, but I'm just starting to think, is it a good time for me to spend time out here? Continue to put efforts into it? Should I look for more self-employed opportunities? Run businesses as little kiosks, get into home flipping, get into other types of businesses, recession-proof businesses to gain more experience? Should I buy a few acres pretty soon, build a few homes, make a difference? What do you guys think? Because it's been 20 years. A lot of things have gotten better for me, but a lot of things have not met expectations. Think about it. Is it a good time to spend my future out here? Because when I think about it, when I just came from overseas a few weeks ago, there was a lot of good things that I really liked. Now, does this mean that if I go overseas that all my ideas and goals out here is just going to go to the dumpster? No, I don't think so. No, I can live overseas. I can live part-time in Southern California with relatives. I can have my businesses here, wire the money overseas, enjoy the benefits of the lower cost of living. I can do that. However, the thing is, and considering the fact that overseas has a lot of great qualities, and I've explained in my previous videos, surely I can do it. But the thing is that may show a sign that I've given up. But I don't want to give up. Why? Because I've spent a lot of my youth, including my childhood, in putting efforts in this plan, making a difference, understanding the fact that when it comes to the way things are structured here, our transportation, land use, architecture, all these things, they truly make a difference. They truly matter. And I don't want to put my efforts in a situation where they've barely gone anywhere. And it's not just me. You who are watching this video, you need to make sure that you spread my information, because look, if we don't know what we're doing truly, it may end up being 40 years or 60 years. Think about it. And I'm going to be 92 years old, but hopefully I'll live that long. And not a whole lot has been accomplished. Think about it. I mean, better yet, I don't know, maybe some of you think, don't put your wealth into this project, just use it to enjoy life and go overseas, do something with it. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you guys really think that my efforts have a future in here? Because it's been 20 years. I'm quite concerned about this. I am enjoying my life, but I need you guys to really get out there, spread the word, and give me some tips. Thank you guys so much. Please take care.